First of all, before we start sort of drawing or painting on this, is that I always tell people to put a wash on, so it's not white. We don't paint onto a white surface, and there are reasons for that. Well, I'll talk to you as I do it, and I'm going to do it with my earth colour, the burnt sienna here. So I'm grabbing a bit of burnt sienna, making a very dilute mix. It's like milk, you know, the consistency of milk. Okay, and I'm going to put that on. I'm using that sort of short, flat, bright, 1 inch wide brush. Because it's kind of, in terms of this size, this is a big job. So big brushes, big jobs, small brushes, small jobs. So now that's called a wash. I've put a wash of colour. It's very, very washy. Yeah. If you did that with linseed oil, you would get a very smeary, oleaginous mix that you couldn't paint into very easily. Okay, so, and even as it is, a vital bit of kit that I never sort of told you about, this not very aseptic rag. Okay, so it's a dirty old sort of rag, but it's all you need. Okay, so you need a rag, and you just need to tamp it down. You don't want to dry it completely, but what you don't want is it to be sopping wet. Okay, because then you've got to it won't take the paint so easily. So now we've got a wash, and let me explain what the advantages are. First of all, this wash, as you can see it now, it's pretty good actually, especially on camera. That is about the same tonal value as that, as my palette. So now, whatever I mix on this, I've kind of got a good idea of what it's going to look like on here. If that was white, and I mixed up a kind of a mid-tone colour on here, by the time I put it on there, it would look much darker because of the white background fighting with it. So we want to bring that down to the tonal level so it's easier to judge our tones. Right, that's one reason. Okay, so terps is what Caravaggio would have used, I suppose, yeah, because it's sort of distilled from the resin of trees, isn't it? The terebinthine tree, anyway. But but Sansador is made from paraffin. Is Sansador. So paraffin doesn't have quite that pungency that terps does, but they're both flammable. So make sure that you look after the rags, get rid of them properly after you finish. They're both volatile, so both of them aren't probably great for your lungs, but there is a studio safe substance called Zestit, ZEST -IT, but it's much less harmful, and it kind of it does 90% of the same job that terps and Sansador do. Because even if you can't smell Sansador, I mean, that's where the name comes from, sans odeur, isn't it? There's no smell in French, but it's still volatile. It's not great to be breathing paraffin all the time either. And so Zestit is studio safe, and that's basically, they call it citrus oil. Basically, it's only given an aroma of lemons, and it won't go on fire. So yes, where were we? We've said that we wanted to bring the tonal value of that down to our palette. Great. The next thing is this enhances your ability to get kind of happy accidents in your painting, because you might not cover the entire painting with brushstrokes of paint, but if you did that with a white canvas, it looks horrible with the white poking through your painting. But if you've got a wash on it, it doesn't poke through as white. It pokes through as a kind of a colour, and even if you don't paint on a particular area, it still helps the painting. It looks, it's an unintended consequence. It looks nice. Maybe I'll point it out sort of towards the latter part of the painting if I remember. So that's another reason for doing it. Yet another reason is that paintings that are done on white, in the hands of somebody who's not quite sure of what they're doing, is that paintings can look superficial. So if you put a wash underneath, for example, when you're doing skies, you might use ultramarine blue, and it kind of, if you make a sky out of just ultramarine blue out directly over white, it often looks as if it's unreal. It doesn't look right. You need something underneath it. Okay. So there's 3 good reasons for using a wash. There are artists who paint directly on white, but they make damn sure that they cover up their canvas completely with opaque paint.